everyone. Good afternoon. It's great to be back. It's great to see everyone and be back face to face enjoying events. A big thanks to the IAB for bringing us all together. This is our first time on the stage. Reddit's been around for a while, long time, 16, 17 years. But internationally, we're just getting started. So it's our first time that we're actually here. And so I'm going to ask you guys for a little bit of audience participation. Can I get a hands up for anyone who actively uses Reddit? Okay. I love this exercise, because as soon as you ask folks who actually are active Reddit users, they shoot their hand up quickly. It's like they're in on the secret. Yes, I know it, I love it, the hands are up. Then you got a few stragglers, they're lurkers, hands half up, half not, but loads of hands down. I love to see it. I love to see it because that means that a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk to you about today might be the first time you see it, and I can't wait for next year where hopefully we've got hands up across the board. My name is Laurelle Potter. I joined Reddit, the wonderful platform, just last year. And we're growing, as I mentioned, here in the UK. But what I want to talk to you guys about today is the power of community and what actually happens when our Reddit users come together to do some amazing things. I heard from James explained like we're golden retrievers. And so, given that there was a few hands that were down, I'm going to take it back a few notches. And I'm going to talk to you about Reddit, about my experience. So lockdown happened. And like a lot of us, I looked within. Sourdough bread wasn't my shtick. So DIY, that's what I dived into. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to renovate my kitchen. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to tear down the tiles. I'm going to bring in new fixtures. I'm going to do what I can. And when I was finished, I was so excited. I was going to hop on that trend, how it started and how it ended. So I took to my social media platforms. I can't wait to do sort of the power of me. Let me tell you what I've done. And I posted my content. And here's what I learned, is my digital footprint on my traditional social media channels. That's my mom, it's my parents, it's my aunts, it's my friends, my family, my colleagues. It's not necessarily folks who are interested in the same interests as me. So I posted my content waiting for the likes and the love to roll in, and a thumbs up here, because not everyone in my network actually cares about herringbone tiling techniques. Not everyone cares about the fixtures. And so I took to Reddit. It was a new platform for me at the time, and I thought, let me give this a go. So what's different on Reddit is people organize themselves around things that they've already indicated an interest on. So I took this bold move, and in r/DIY UK, 2 million members, I'm going to post my content, let's see what happens. Now keep in mind on Reddit, you're anonymous. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows what I come with. Nobody knows any of my pre-existing content. So I posted my kitchen, and off I went. I had 54 comments from complete strangers, some giving me really great critical advice, some asking for tips of where did I get my fixtures, where did I get my bar stools, what if I tried to move some of my stuff to this side of the room? And it was this really great organic community that came together that just all cared about the same topic. And so that's what we really love about Reddit is people are organized together over passions, and passion drives that action, where everybody jumped on within the first hour or two to actually talk, reach out, give me tips, give me some critique, give some advice, and that's what we really love. And so really that is what Reddit is. It is a community of communities, a collective group of people who come together over passions and interests. That could be travel, that could be politics, that could be art, that could be food. Now those are pretty general. We've got huge communities for those, but we thrive in the niche. For those of you who do know Reddit, we've got the big communities for, say, r/entertainment, where people come together to talk about shows or movies or books. But then we trickle down a few levels. We've got the communities for r/Harry Potter fans, 2 million people who come together just to still, to this day, talk about their love over Harry Potter. Then we start to branch out. There's Harry Potter the film community, where they're just there to talk about the film. There's Harry Potter the book, who all just come together to talk about the book. There's actually a fan fiction account where what would have happened if Harry and Hermione actually did get together? And these communities, they're strict. Moderators, volunteer moderators create these communities, and they enforce the rule. They enforce the culture. They set their own set of rules. So if you went into the book, Harry Potter book community and started to talk about the film, you get the boot. And they do that because they want to keep the culture authentic. And I will say that kindness and treating others with kindness is usually top of the first rule book in every community. Because really on Reddit, the human is the heart. We don't know who you are, you're anonymous, and you're coming in here to be kind and to share your passions. So we know folks get together in community of communities, we've got everyone and all together. But what happens when we push these communities together? That's what I want to share with you today. We have a sort of predisposition to love April Fools, right? It's got this great tone. We love an April Fool's Day. We love a good prank. 5 years ago, we created something called r/place. I'm seeing a few nods and smiles, so you guys may have heard of this. In 2017, what we did is we opened a canvas, 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. Every Reddit user, every 5 minutes, could post one color. And what we wanted to see is what can everyone do collectively to create art? And what happened here in 2017 is 1 million Reddit users came together to create art, but they coordinated. These communities with no incentive whatsoever came together to create digital art that represented themselves. So you'll see we've got some flags. The national communities came together and rallied and cried and said, let's create our flags. You've got a redesign of the Mona Lisa, which is incredibly complicated to do if you're thinking of one user being able to place a tile every 5 minutes. We had sort of Microsoft, the start bar at the bottom right-hand corner, this really clever representation of all of these different communities coming together, and they duked it out. They were battling for space, and so half of the humor was watching all of these communities actually fight one another to actually take a couple more pixels that represented their community. So that happened in 2017. Actually, Josh Wardle, who created Wardle, the game, used to work at Reddit, and he was our PM that worked this. So we owe him a lot of thanks to the gamification of this. But given it was such a success, and we're now in 2022, we have tons more users, we thought, let's give it another go. So what I'm going to show you next is what happened 3-4 weeks ago in 2022 when we re-brought back r/place, but bigger and better than ever before. So it's a time lapse, so you're going to see over time what really happened. And some fascinating things happened. The Germans, as they do, these guys sat down, they coordinated, they were slowly taking over the bottom half. And there's actually a really great Wall Street Journal article that shows how they coordinated together. They jumped on Discord, they jumped on Twitch. There was these rallying cries where they went to other social media platforms to get people involved. A beautiful representation of the world coming together for Ukraine, where the Ukraine flag took over the top half. And then we excited them by actually doubling the canvas. So it got bigger and even better. We're seeing brands being represented here, countries being represented here. And you just think of the coordination that this all takes to actually bring this level of detail all together. There are some things that, every time you watch it, something new will pop up. My poor Canadians, I watched them with their Canadian flag. I don't know if you guys ever saw this came out, but we tried desperately to create our maple leaf, our beloved maple leaf. And the fun banter that I talked about before, that leaf got turned into a more familiar leaf that I'm sure you can imagine. So the constant battle for 3 days was us trying to keep the maple leaf alive and marijuana slowly taking over. But it was brilliant. This great representation of communities coming together to do something together, unincentivized, nothing just by wanting to be together, coordinate together, and be represented. And that's what we really love. My personal best example, this. Think of how difficult it is to create a QR code from small pixels, small coordination. I was hoping somebody would get out their phone and scan this, but I'm glad you didn't, because if you did, you would have been rickrolled. This QR code takes you to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. That is actually the most upvoted content on Reddit to this day. We love Rick, we love a Rickroll. But such great, clever creativity and collaboration that showed up. And I think that's what I want you to take away today, is that when there's passion, there's action. We see this every day. Whether you're creating a flag on a fun April Fool's event, whether you're telling someone how they can renovate their kitchen, whether you're challenging Wall Street, communities coming together that are passionate about something drive a lot of action. And what we see on Reddit is that the way that our users are put together, the architect of how communities are brought together in subreddits, means that these guys really trust one another. They care about one another, and it's quite difficult to find that same structure elsewhere. And so what we find in our research is if you put your hand up and you are a Reddit user, you're actually less likely to also be on other platforms, less likely to be on TikTok or Twitter or Twitch. And so actually you're reaching a net new audience here because this is actually serving a different purpose for your user. So these guys are trusted, they're leaned in, they care about their topic, they actually want to hear from brands. They want to hear about product recommendations. Everyone in my r/DIY UK community, they would have loved to have heard from B&Q where I bought the actual chairs. And so we actually are encouraging brands to dive in, join into the conversation, and actually talk to users who are ready to be spoken to. So last but not least, passion drives action, whether that's advocacy for your brands and clients or direct results. Reddit's a place because the power of community really does come together. Thanks so much.